Veterans Battalion.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Veterans Battalion. We're here following the War Room. Got my boy Roland, Adam, Colt. And Colt, what's the purpose of this Veterans Battalion podcast?
Guys, we're one battalion, one company, one squad, one team, one fight.
All right.
I got a high tide right now. Right? Screw up.
Who'd you bring with you? Is this your bodyguard?
We have a special guest today. Great friend of mine. I mean, this guy, I met him a while back, and he'll tell you a story on how that happened, which I think is
I like that story.
Pretty amazing. And it's always about veterans, helping veterans. But great friend, served in the Marine Corps, did amazing stuff, owns a CrossFit gym now. And it's just a great example of just coming back and just taking action and making shit happen. So with us today, we got Raymond Gonzalez.
That explains why you're chiseled as hell.
No, man. It's funny. I don't know. 2 years without working out. But I'll cover that in a bit.
You know, it's funny. We were here warming up our vocals before we started recording. And, he's talking about graduating high school in 2005. Doing all this stuff, and I'm all like, bro, like you got more gray hair than I do.
Oh man, yeah. How old are you? 31.
31. Look at
31. Yeah, 31.
31. Only in the Marine Corps will you be 30 years old.
Dude, I'm like 2005. I was coming back from Iraq already, and this guy's graduating.
No.
Shit, I probably attended down the graduation and tried to recruit you.
You probably did, man.
I didn't have a Benz. That's what it was.
That's what it
was.
Yeah. I'll tell you the story.
Make sure you talk about that.
Benz. So, welcome, man, to a show, and again, this podcast is about just empowering veterans, helping them get that step forward on the transitioning side, whether it's just motivation, a kick in the ass, or just education in regards to how they can change their life, take action. And we're glad to have veterans like yourself who are an inspiration, an example of what can be accomplished. And like they say, and I don't like to use the word D now on PTSD because I don't think it's a disorder. I think it's just a situation that we deal with, but it's definitely possible to get over that and achieve fucking greatness.
Totally, man. 100% agree.
So where did you grow up, man? And why did you join the Marine Corps?
All right. So I grew up in Watts, Compton area. So I was 10, and I think we moved to Downey after that. From there, I ended up going to high school at Warren High School. Graduated in 05. And during that whole transition, I was looking for an out, some change, coming from the first generation American here from Mexicans. I wanted something different, like education was never instilled in me. And the only thing that was taught was like, hey, the standard, the American sheep system. Hey, go to school, get good grades, so you can go to a good college and get a good job and then retire at 60. Get in debt, but retire at 60 and then live your life,
Or get a house, or get a house as soon as you can, get a 30-year mortgage, and that would be your retirement.
Correct.
Which is the most common thing we hear today.
And that's
clearly not right. Now, let me just ask this, because now you're talking about growing up and the process of that. I just finished reading a book. It's You're a Badass. Forget the author's name. Gene.
Oh, I wrote that.
Yeah. Oh, shit. You're a badass, man. And, it talks about the subconscious and conscious mind and how basically what we're being raised and our parents think that is the correct way to do things is based on what their parents taught them to do, right?
Yeah.
And it seems, especially within the Latino community, it's always been where, you have to walk the straight line, go to school, get a degree, get
good grades, get a good job.
Yeah, and then you're going to live the most best life ever. It's going to be in debt or whatever. But, after 40 years, when your house is all paid off, you can now cash out and go live that life that you want.
And you know what? That might have been the case back then. That might have been the case in the 50s, even a couple decades ago, where a college degree actually really meant something.
Totally.
Nowadays, it's really not going to do much for you unless you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, where you need that.
That's the key word, if you need it. I agree with that a lot. I have a bunch of, friends, coworkers, for example, if you don't need a degree, right? If you're not a doctor, a nurse, you can do a lot more with a certificate, for example, right? Like, I got a buddy that graduated from UTI, that technical school, owns his own turbo shop in Arizona, right? He pulls in $310 a year.
Wow.
Working for himself. All he's doing is feeding the import. All the kids that like imports. That's all he's doing in Arizona.
And this is why I wanted to bring Raymond in, because you did that total opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the biggest thing that I heard coming out was like, take advantage of your post 11, you have to go get a degree. And my whole thing is I wanted to become an architect, right? And I tried that, and I was just like, dude, I could go get a real estate license and start doing real estate and somehow get inputted into an architect or doing some sort of design without that. And clearly just by putting that out there and visioning it, because a lot of times is if we don't see the result, we don't take action. And you gotta sometimes fucking forget that. You gotta fucking vision it, you gotta just take action on it, and then you're gonna see the result.
Absolutely.
But you're never gonna know unless you commit or not. And a lot of the times, especially with veterans, because we're not being told what to do once we get out, once we're in, yeah, we have our XO,
of course,
everybody there that's
there's
basically
an objective
telling you what to do.
Why is it that you're so
it,
effective on getting the mission done when you're in service, but when you get out, it's kind of like you're fucking lost in sauce?
Because you're your own CO now. You're your own XO, and people aren't ready to have that position.
You're so used to that being ingrained in you.
Exactly.
That's like your
100%.
way of life.
And so when you come out and you do just fucking commit, who cares? Look, listen, you're gonna fail. That's life. Life is met in a way that you're gonna fail multiple times. That's just it is. But the beauty of
it's just fucking learning.
Yeah, the beauty of it is that you learn ways not to do it.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, Raymond, if I asked you right now, dude, are you living life to the fullest and are you fulfilled?
Totally.
100%.
Yeah, totally.
100%. I have friends that served and are on this path to doctrines and all that. They're fucking miserable. Dude.
Yeah.
Miserable. And they're still not working. They still haven't. I mean, now you're like already like in your late 30s, man. And I'm like, bro, the one thing you can't buy back is time.
Exactly.
Fucking start doing
it. You can't
it.
play catch up, man.
You can't. Like, I mean, I'm a big believer that, yeah, regardless how old you are, you could always make shit happen. But, dude, do what you love and just make it happen now. And I think that's what Raymond here absolutely did. He found a niche, something that he loved, took everything, took action. And just like in any business, you're going to have obstacles. I mean, that's the one thing that never stops. You know, you're going to fucking start something, you're going to get over it, then guess what? You're going to have obstacles after that. I mean, it's just, that's life. But the thing is now that you learn how to adapt and overcome on the right things, you don't learn to adapt and overcome on the bad habit shit that you only have fast and then give you fucking problems later.
I agree.
Agreed. Right. I think you go from being in the military, the Marine Corps in my instance, and going on to be, you're like this ultimate badass. You went to war and you do all these things, and you feel like you got this big old chest, and then you get out, and then you're amongst other civilians, and it kind of makes you feel like you could drop the bar a little bit, But in reality, I mean, you're an ultimate badass, and you're just amongst other people, and you're still like at a different tier. You just don't realize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still got all the discipline. You got all the right tools to be, successful. You just got to get out there and pursue it.
You know what? The one thing that it's like mind blowing to me is like everybody in this room has been to war. Everybody through here has passed Marine Corps boot camp, which, if you ask me, is the toughest mental, not physical, because I would assume you went prepared physically. I mean, fuck, you guys all look like fucking stats.
Unless you were a PCP.
I was a diet recruit.
Yeah.
I was a diet recruit. Pretty much all of my 13 weeks.
Well, first of all, fucking Rolling here is like 7'3", fucking 400 pounds. Like, this was a giant. Like, shit. So, but listen, I mean, the fact that you went through that mentally and then going through combat mentally, that's a big thing. You don't realize that you have accomplished something that I would say a big percentage of the population out there can't even
relate or understand.
One day. And you know what's crazy is that you cannot take that same energy and apply it to your outside life. Whether it's a business, whether it's execution on a goal that you have, a dream that you might want to accomplish, or just being more disciplined. And it falls out. Like, recently I was at MVP and there's this Navy SEAL guy that went through Navy SEAL, fucking served in overseas Navy SEAL, and is having a hard time transitioning now, fell into drug problems and all that. Now, of course, you're studying there. You're like, dude, like, wow, like I'm sitting there. That's a fucking Navy SEAL. That's somebody that I think it's 10% of the Navy only that is able to accomplish that or something like that. And I'm like,
it's like one.
Yeah.
Dude, and I'm like, that's your mindset should be in a whole different level. I just think you haven't really discovered it now. Well, you're out.
I'll touch on that because I have a few buddies that I served with after I got out of the Marine Corps. When I was contracted, they were SEALs at Few Delta. And it's sad to see such like men with great potential for mission accomplishment fail in life, because in life they have no mission accomplishment. That's the problem. I think that the military fails to transition you out with another objective, And I'll use my my life, for example, I got out and I wanted to do law enforcement. And I thought, hey, well, I can't be a cop till I'm 21. We go join the Marine Corps and avoid getting in trouble, right? And I'll be 21. And I chased law enforcement for a decade, and I finally got the job, and I finally got hired. And I think I don't know if I talked to you, but as I'm going through the OC Sheriff's Academy, at that point, 10 years later, now I'm close to 30, right? My priorities changed, like what I thought I wanted to continue to be a gunslinger wasn't a priority anymore, right? Now I have kids, and I wanted the quality of life with the financial freedom to be home. Like, yeah, pay was cool. And going through the academy, I realized that, this is not even for me anymore. Like, one, it's easy. Like the academy was cake. If you go physically prepared, then all you have to worry is about academics, which is, they're called LDs, learning domains. And it was cake. I was like 98% top, recruit. And then I had an incident where one of the main instructors had it in for me. He put his hands on me and he just grabbed my bicep, and I go back to the position of attention.
In the academy.
In the academy, right? He just puts his hands on me and he breaks protocol. So at this point, I'm not, I'm older. I understand the system. I already own my CrossFit gym. I'm already financially stable. I like to say I'm already financially free. I only work 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and pretty much I vacation all month when I want to. So my girl told me, she's like, why do you let yourself, why are you chasing something that you don't need anymore? And at that point, I was chasing the younger, fresh, out of boot camp or out of the Marine Corps veteran. Like, hey, I still want to serve, and I still want to give back to the community. Not realizing that, hey man, at the beginning, at the most fundamental stage, I realized how corrupt law enforcement is. This guy puts his hands on me. The long ordeal. It's a big report. He lied, said that I threw him against the wall and he had to defend himself. So I get kicked out for failing to meet probationary standards, right? And I can rebuttal, I can go to court, but most veterans that I know that get disqualified or fail when they try to pursue law enforcement, they hit rock bottom, right? Yeah. Because they don't know how to recover, right? Yeah. There's an author I read a lot about. He helped me with my CrossFit a lot. His name is Chris Cooper, and he says, I have a superpower that most business people don't have. And he says, I know how to fail really fast and recover even faster. And I think that's critical because most veterans, right? And this guy owns about 60 CrossFit gyms. He's very successful. Most veterans have one out after the military, whether it be law enforcement. Very few think about real estate when they're out. They want to continue applying their skills that they learned, especially infantry, we're grunts, right, to the outside world. And I know a ton of veterans that, that are SEALs, Delta, that apply to law enforcement to get disqualified because we have bad habits that they don't want, right? They associate, post-traumatic stress with triggered happiness, or, hey, we don't do things that way. You come in now and it's a different time, especially here in California. I have buddies that, that barely got into law enforcement after 12 years of trying because every time they did an interview, they got diagnosed for post-traumatic stress.
Kind of what we talked about on a previous podcast where, especially with all the disconnect in society right now with the general public and law enforcement, they're changing their whole stance, law enforcement, to serving the community.
Yeah.
And so now it's almost like, if a veteran has been in combat,
it hinders you.
It's a liability.
Correct.
Where you need to really focus on showing your ability to communicate
and
serve the community rather than having amazing combat experience to show that you can perform under fire.
I tried for 10 years to get in the police department. Decline. Colt did, and he started tattooing everywhere, so he couldn't force himself. No, this is serious.
I'll tell you a little story about those tattoos.
When he told us what you told me is that
they told him, congratulations,
during
the
he kept getting declined. He kept getting declined.
4 departments I got declined,
and he didn't want to continue putting himself through that stuff.
After UCLA campus, I literally went home that night and I had a buddy that was a tattoo artist. And I said, see that sticker on the back of my truck? And this big old skull sticker on the back of my truck. I was like, can you copy that and throw it on my neck? He's like, why? I was like, bro, because then I don't have to worry about being a cop anymore. And I don't have to worry about going back to the Marine Corps because I was so worried about regret, man.
Exactly.
I was like, dude, I got out of the Marine Corps. Now I'm a nobody.
Yes.
Now I don't make any money. Yeah. I'm renting a room.
Dude,
where am I going to
100%.
And I was just all negged out, man.
Yep.
I couldn't figure it out. I was drinking. I was just trying to figure out my life. I was like confused. I was like, I gotta be a cop so I can have brotherhood. I can't find it anywhere else. And I tried other things eventually that, helped me out, but
And,
It's confusing,
after
It's very confusing.
all
but that helped.
It's all a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I got
It's
to
like
night,
what you were talking
Hey.
about, the veteran having like that one out,
yeah,
which you tried to pursue.
and it doesn't
And it-
work
and
out.
it didn't
And I
work.
told my girl was very supportive. She's like, I'm very surprised that you didn't lose it. You were already in. You were getting paid. You were working for the city already. And I was 2 months from graduating, and then they fire you for some BS. And I told her, you know what? It was a reminder of what I have. Appreciate what you have. I have you, I have the kids, and I already have a successful business that was crashing down because I went to the academy.
So this happened while you were.
This is already I already had the business for 4 years.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, I
You
used.
tell me that
What
one.
year was this?
This is in 2000, and we're in 18 right now. This is 15 to 16.
Just so everyone knows, tattoos above the neckline and hands, it's pretty much disqualifying you from
Law enforcement,
anything.
except DOE, Department of Energy.
You know what's crazy though? It's
Oh.
by the way, I'm gonna describe Colt for you guys for all our listeners. It's about
Now we're gonna get a bunch of women.
6'2", bald
Some gay dudes,
hair,
too. I got
some gay
gay
dudes.
dudes.
nice 6 o'clock shade, ripped. I mean, blue eyes. I mean, dude, fuck, I was a girl, bro. But anyhow, the dude's blasted and owns the most successful moving company nationwide. So I'm going to tell you this, regardless what the fuck you do, there's always a way out. And this guy is a perfect example of it too. Now, I mean, how many countries you guys deliver to? Well, states, sorry.
No, states.
I was like, no,
Okay,
I don't
okay,
need you out of the country.
I just
Worldwide?
scaled your business, bro.
Yeah,
You are now
no,
worldwide.
yeah.
Or worldwide or what?
So-
We're about to
we
get
can't
some
we can't
requests
do
from
out of
Costa
the
Rica.
country, but just mostly the United States.
So United States, nationwide, that's what, almost all states?
Yeah,
What's the furthest you
everything
gone?
except for Alaska. Alaska, I can do Hawaii.
Shit, every time I talk to Colt, he's like in Colorado or Wyoming.
It's because I can't settle down. I gotta be moving like constantly. Like
Hey guys,
that's what I
real
always
quick,
say.
hold on. We got a commercial break here. Attention to detail. You won't stop moving shop nationwide. All right, we're back, guys. So now back to Raymond here. Dude, that's like $5,000. So
I
you
appreciate
send
it.
it to me.
That's my problem.
So you started CrossFit right after you
After
got
contracting.
How did that start? Like, walk us through that. As this was because CrossFit at that time was like the big thing. I remember every video I saw or everything. Now the Marine Corps picked that up and they had that new PFT that they were doing with CrossFit, and then every private contractor that you ever saw online was doing some sort of CrossFit.
That's the story right there. As I was getting out of the Marine Corps, 08, 09, I decided not to re-enlist, and CrossFit was in. And I remember I was doing CrossFit my last year. I just had nothing else to do. I had a year to get out, and I wasn't going to extend to go to Afghanistan. So I got into CrossFit, liked it, went to college for about 2 years, and that's when I was applying to try to get a job because I was like, all right, I need to work. And it was 08, 09 when it was very hard to work. And I couldn't get a job to be a regular security guard. I was like, I'll do graveyard. I'll work at Home Depot and stack. Just give me a job. And everywhere I was getting nice. So at that point, my savings account was going down. My GI Bill didn't kick in because it was the first time they activated it. So I got my first GI Bill 12 months after. So for the first year, I wasn't getting no GI Bill. Anyway, my boy, he's like, hey, I work for Blackwater. I'm like, dude, I got denied the first time. I didn't have enough experience. Like, you need a minimum of, I think it was 16 months. I'm like, perfect. I have that now. Then I applied. Triple Canopy at that point was running everything. So I got hired. Yeah. Hey, it was the finals. And I told my professor, hey, I'm not going to make it. Because they emailed me right away. Hey, we have the next roster going in here in May. And I was like, well, my finals are like June 1st. He's like, well, you decide. Do you want to, we'll fly you here. Do you want to work or do you want to take a damn final? And it was at that moment I realized education is all bullshit, And I talked to my professor, I'm like, is there a way that I can do the final early? He's like, no, your A's going to drop to a C. And he's like, why are you doing it? I'm like, I got a job opportunity that I want to take. He's like, you're gonna lose out on your education for a job. And I realized how limited his mindset is, And I realized that people that have careers have this notion that they let their schooling with their paper get in the way of their education. So they feel that once they have their schooling done, they're done with education.
Their thinking, their passion, everything.
Yeah, and it's done. And I tell people, hey, when you're done with schooling, meaning your master's or PhD, education is not done, Like I read, I get up every day at 3:30 or 4 in the morning, and I grind, I read, and I learn. Anyway, I got flown out to Louisiana. I met JP's boy, Carmoni, who was my head instructor. We went through I think it was like a 90-day interview. it's pretty much going through SOI, simple stuff, right? If you were a grunt, you could do it. All the grunts graduated, the non-grunts were failing. And then, all right, 10 days, you deployed to Iraq.
Yeah.
Cool. Right back to Baghdad, right? Right
Talk
back.
about another blessing in
That,
disguise.
exactly. I wanted a part-time job,
Yeah.
right? I wanted a $9 an hour job, and I think I started off at like $550, a day to go overseas.
That's crazy.
Start shooting.
And does that include like any like hazard pay, or is that like all bundled
I think
up?
so for me it was $550 a day, and then when I decided to extend my first year, instead of coming home, if you extend past 300 in one day, I believe, or 300 days, it's tax free up to 95,000. So once you extend, they were paying us 800, so a $300 bonus. So I was 21.
I applied. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I applied twice.
Did you
I
have
had
any kids?
Blackwater.
No, at that time I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not. Anyway, so I did a whole year pump right away, or like 300 days. Came back for 30 days, and I had the idea, you know what, I'm going to do CrossFit. We went back for my second deployment with contracting, and I'm living in Baghdad's it's a Downs Palace, and we opened up a CrossFit gym, and that's where it went. We started doing CrossFit there, and I was coaching some dudes, and I was like, man, if I can coach these elite badasses, I can open up a gym at home. Things got rough, and 12, that's when the army pulled out, and then the whole Benghazi incident happened. After that, the company changed when the army moved out. They lost, the Americans. We lost support. The biggest caliber was 5.56, and I was like, you know what? It's not really for me. And my supervisor said, hey, Ray, if you stay here, this is gonna ruin you for the rest of your life. And I'm like, what do you mean, dude? I'm making money. He's like, yeah, but you're never gonna make money like this again. So you're not gonna want to leave this job because it's so secure, and you're not gonna start your life. And
you can't live that life with the family.
Exactly. Well, not just that. I saw all my seniors. They were selling their cars, like their Lamborghinis. They were selling their toys, their houses, so they could come back home because their cost of living, right, was so high.
They had to start working.
They had to start downsizing to go home.
They had to be able to
transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, at a lower income. They're not gonna be making, like, my supervisors were making $1,200 a day. So anyway, so they're right. I'm gonna hit it hard for another year, come back and get into law enforcement. Right. Well, I took a 90-day vacation. I was like, man, this ain't gonna work out again. I got denied for having 4 deployments. My interviewer said, psych. She said, oh, just like you, my husband suffers from PTSD. And I was like,
just like you.
Yeah, because he was in Vietnam. And I was like, wait a minute, but I never said I had PTSD. I haven't even done my last psych or my last eval because I didn't do any of that. Because if you're trying to get in law enforcement, you want to avoid your last psych. Anyway, 90 days running, I had cash and I opened up, a CrossFit gym. I started my first day, and this is what I like to tell other veterans that are struggling. Like day one, we started at a park. For the first 20 days, we were just working out people up at a park, just boot camp style, right?
Oh yeah.
And people were liking it, but this is the most important thing. It's not about hazing people, right? Any workout gets you tired. You can do burpees for 10 minutes and you're smoked. It was about connecting with people and empowering that heavier woman or that old dude that, hey, you can do this too, man. Like, I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to do it. And every single day you're accomplishing new tasks and you're overcoming a phobia of jumping on a box and just high-fiving them. And I think what helped me a lot was they wanted to relate to, they thought it was cool that a veteran was trained. And at that point, it was
like empowering, right?
Empowering, yeah. Like, hey, this guy's gone through all. I never shared my story with people. Like, I never said I was in Iraq or. Most of my members, I have about 130 members in my gym right now. Very few know that I was in Iraq. They know I was in the military,
especially Hadith, right?
Yeah, especially Hadith. Yeah, very few. Yeah, exactly.
That's the real deal, man.
So
what do you think it is like? Because you said that you're completely like the place that you are right now. You're fulfilled. You're happy with everything that you do. What do you think? What do you think it is?
All right, man. Here's the first thing. All right, here's the first thing, and this took a lot of work, and you guys already know this because we're always chasing something, right? Mm-hmm. I got into Eastern philosophy a lot, and Alan Watts transitioned, and he started putting these thoughts in my head. This guy's dead already, but I tell people you can always read a book and learn from the past, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's finding your understanding that the only thing you have is the moment that you have right now, right? And understand that everything around us is deteriorating, right? Like if you can zoom in, you can see that JP's dying right now. I'm dying right now. Your kids are dying right now. Your wife is dying right now. And if you can slow down to appreciate that and understand that, hey, like instead of rushing to close this last deal, I'm going to close my laptop, and wake up earlier while my kids are sleeping and grind away so I don't take away from my family. Gave me that mental like stability to not stress out, not be the Marine that is the big, always grouchy, like, hey, go do your homework, hey, do this. Appreciate life. And as veterans, when you come back from Iraq or you're wherever you deploy to, you appreciate life. But it's very easy to like forget. Yeah. It's very easy to forget.
Routines,
yes. And chasing the grind. And like when I was, at one moment, I was chasing more membership because I didn't understand return on investment, right? So each member pays $155 a month. So I was like, hey, if I get more members, I make more money. But that puts a lot of stress on you to try to get more members.
But if you focus on helping people.
Yes.
Quality.
Exactly. Not just that, you increase the quality. Like one of the podcasts you guys mentioned, like if you can find a person's problem and give them the solution, and help them. And literally, this is one thing that I got from other mentors as well, right? You find out what JP's problem is, and then you build a roadmap. Hey, JP, this is your problem. What are you doing already to help you solve your problem? All right, I like the fact that you're taking these steps, the initiative to do this. I can help you achieve your goal, and this is how we're going to do it. And if you give them a roadmap to understand that, hey, this is how we're going to do it, you paint in them a roadmap that they can follow. So instead of trying to get more members, I increased the value of service that I was providing to my members, and that increased the return on investment. So now the average member pays about $250 because I provided more services rather than try to get more members. I focused on my core group and just focus on them rather than, like I told another CrossFit owner, I'm like, hey, when you go chase new members, your attention is elsewhere, so your home starts to fall apart.
I love that. Can I ask you something?
Yes, sir.
I was just curious. I've been waiting to do this for a while for another jiu-jitsu guy. You roll, right?
Yeah, I've been training for 10 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What belt are you?
Purple.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a blue. I was just curious.
I'm a white belt.
Right. But he's been training for 20 years.
The reason why I was asking is because as a veteran,
Senior
how has jiu-jitsu helped you in your life?
Yeah.
Not to get out too far.
No, that's
but I'm just curious. Like, has that humbled you? Do you feel like? Because I feel like it's humbled me like a ton.
Oh, so here we go. I got out of the Marine Corps 09. I got out early, so I took 90-day vacation, or what is it called? Leave, right? I didn't sell it back. I just took it, and I got introduced to jiu-jitsu in 2009 by an old friend of mine who was also a veteran, one of my seniors.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and I used to be big. I used to be 205. I used to lift all the time, right? And I was like, man, I'm fresh out of Iraq. I'm strong.
Let me get tapped out.
No, yeah. I'm gonna smoke. Listen, I know McMahon. Yeah, shot. Vertical stop, kill. Anyway,
all you Marines out there know exactly what.
Yeah, and I was like, I got this, man. I was 205 full, and the owner is like, "You gonna train my son? He's 13." I was like, 13? And this kid doesn't even have a mustache yet, and 115 soaking wet. And it was a drill, like, all right, prevent him from taking your back. So you face him, prevent him from taking your back. Anyway, this kid choked me out probably in 2 minutes, like 6 times. Like, choked me out. And to the point where I was like, I don't know what he's doing, but I want to learn. All right. So at that point, I got hooked and I wanted to learn. And then very quickly, I got humbled, right? Yeah. And more importantly, it gave me that peace of mind that I tell my girl, like, going to jiu-jitsu, now I've been doing it for so long, right? 10 years. But prior to that, it took the edge off.
It did.
It took the edge off of my day. After I roll, I felt great. Like, you can drive by and cut me off and flip me off, and I'll wave at you. But prior to that, when I was fresh out of the Marine Corps, like I wanted to get some, And now that I've been doing it for 10 years, and I teach some people, it's like I understand that slowing down and understanding what's happening is a lot more beneficial than trying to put it on friggin' burst and just go all wild.
And I think it's a little bit of both. So you got your little bit of peace and you got your little bit of war in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
because the war is banging heads, right? Yeah. But then the peace comes from the art.
Yes.
Because there's a ton of these guys and there's a bunch of vets in it. And I'll tell you, like, they'll try to get all crazy on me because you'll try to get all squirrely and all fast. But the guys who are the best move the slowest.
Yes.
The slowest.
Yeah.
Every single inch.
So detailed.
It's funny you guys mentioned that. My son now, he's been doing it and he's actually getting a lot better. Like, I've been looking at him. He's starting to control. And there's one kid. He's 12 years old. Japanese kid. Bro, if you see this kid, man, the smoothest, tranquil, Like my son gets frustrated after a while because like he cannot get on his back. If he like gets close to mounting, this guy like sweeps him fast and smooth and like sweeps him and then just gets back and then just lays there like, all right, try again. And my son's like, oh, and I tell my son, look, you gotta relax, like learn from this kid. So it's funny because now I go home and I'm like trying to apply the same thing this kid is doing to my son. And so I'm like sweeping my son on his way. And my son's like, you're doing the same thing Keto's doing. I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty good.
And then right back to that, because when my professor runs a system where they try to help veterans too, it's very empowering because it has the brotherhood. Depending to what gym you train at, there's that brotherhood, you know, at the end of the day. And I have now a lot of veterans that I've taken there that train with me. And it's not the sense of mission accomplishment, but of like
being a part of something.
Being a part of something and the structure, right?
Yeah.
Like the structure of rank and respect. Like we have a 71-year-old black belt who started at 61, and he's an incredible story in himself. He's a retired police officer. He started jiu-jitsu at 61 because he's like, my life ain't over. I retired, but it's not over. So now he's 71. He got his black belt, and
Wow.
You know, it's incredible. That's
What an accomplishment.
for himself, yeah. In itself. He's 71, and then you have these fresh 23-year-olds that are on the left side, right? White belts. But I like the structure of like, hey man, here's a salt dog. He earned this position. You have to respect. You're gonna respect the belt, regardless of what you think of the person. Kind of like the military structure, right? You can have a shitty ass sergeant, but hey man, you respect the rank. You don't have to, follow suit with what the person does. And then getting your ass kicked. Yeah, it's very important. I get my ass kicked all the time. Like just when I'm feeling good, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm doing great. My professor comes in and like lays it on me hard, and my professor goes hard on me. He's a great guy, he's 32, young guy too. He's been trained for 22 years, and it's great. It grounds me.
Because that's how life is.
You think
if you really think about it,
just when you're doing well,
you think you're doing great, and then bam,
well,
that's when you get.
I took one time I took like a 6-month vacation for my business. Things are going good. I made a carbon copy of myself. Somebody's gonna do it. And next thing I know, I went from making like 14 grand a month to just 4. And I was like, damn, I got too comfortable.
Yeah, and that's the biggest issue. Sometimes you want, and I want to touch real quick on when you spoke about slowing down, and this is something I always talk about, is creating that inner wealth. And I learned that the hard way because on the last episode, or I don't know if I even shared this on the episode, if it was just us talking about the fact that I felt the need to always prove people wrong because they always told me, hey, you know what, you're not going to be able to achieve this, you're not going to sell homes there. So I chased this like thing in my head to like prove people wrong, to ensure that no, fuck that, I could do it. I'm going to sell high-end homes. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And then in the end, just like you guys mentioned, I was like not fulfilled. I was sitting there like, fuck, I'm working my ass out. There's a point in my life where I was doing 7 days, almost 12 hours. And yeah, I had over like 28 million in volume, but what's the point of that? I couldn't even enjoy it. And at the end of the day, I was like, fuck, dude, I'm like wasted, like done. And I felt more angrier and I felt more hatred. And I felt that I wasn't being as passionate with my kids and everything. And I sat there and I analyzed and I said, I'm not doing what I fully love.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's not. I'm chasing to prove people wrong.
You're proving someone else wrong.
And at the end of the day, who gives a fuck what people think? That's
exactly.
really what it is.
So you start to serve others.
When you create your inner wealth, my believing behind it is, you do what you love, everything else is gonna fall in place. That doesn't mean you can't have the nice things. Fuck, you want a fucking Ferrari? You can still achieve that. You can still make it happen. I'm just saying, don't focus on your whole energy just on chasing that.
Because your happiness isn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's not. Just like you said, everything else is deteriorating and falling apart. But what I'm saying is, you can create something amazing, still be able to enjoy that and have the balance in life. I think, what's his name? Jason Capital put a very empowering image on his Instagram. And on one of them, it had this dude with this huge stack of money. And there's a portrait of just beautiful landscaping, a river. The first guy has this huge stack of money that his whole body basically overpassed the whole portrait. The second one had a guy with a balance of books, knowledge, a balance of money, and he was just perfectly right in the middle of this whole portrait. The other guy had basically just straight books and basically just felt right under the portrait. And then there was the guy that's just underneath everything that had nothing. And he said, what's the perfect translation to this for you? And I sat there and I said, okay, well, fuck. If you chase only material things, you lose and missed out on all the important things in life.
For sure. And I've been there.
Living in the moment.
Yeah. And if you have that balance of just continuing self-improvement, educating yourself while enjoying the benefits of what you work hard, you enjoy life in its fullest. And there's also such thing as too much knowledge, like you mentioned school. You just focus too much on that.
And too much knowledge. This is one thing that in business, for my business, when I talk to I forget what they're called, my accountant, one of them, he's too smart for his own good because he's so good at math. Mathematically, numbers don't add up. So he's like, that's too risky. Don't do it.
Yeah,
okay, that's cool. That's cool. I get it, but that's not how life works.
Yeah,
you know,
you gotta take
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I for maybe like 2 years I would listen, and I was too scared. Because man, he's an expert. He's saying mathematically it doesn't work, and then I realized, you know what? F that. Like, if I fail, cool, get up and recover. There's a book by Chris Cooper, Help First, and that applies to all business. And I think you guys are very well already understanding this. Like, if you can add value and help people, your business will grow. Yeah. And then if your business grows, you get the things that you want, you know. But helping first also applies to the family, right? Like, one of the things that brings the most inner peace is if your kids are happy and your wife is happy or your girl is happy, you perform better at your business. But
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, and if you're having, and if you're, you know, focusing so much on the business and neglecting the family, no amount of dollars, because I've been there, you know, no amount of dollars is gonna make you happy because you come home and it's gonna be a shitty ass day.
And you know what's funny, man? It's when you do things like that and you commit to it, shit just fucking
it happens.
It happens. It works
yes.
out.
And that's what it
like,
is.
My daughter's been trying to go to this gymnastics school, and not be quite honest, I've been like kind of prolonging it because it's fucking expensive. And she finally, like last week, she's all like, "Daddy," like she puts up her whole gymnastic outfit, and she's all like, "I can't wait till I go," because I've been telling her, "Yes, you will." And dude, that shit broke my heart. I said, "You know what? Fuck it. I don't care how much it is. I'll make sure I have the money by next Wednesday." Dude, being up front right now, dude, I did not have it. And literally by next Wednesday, my wife calls me. She goes, "I'm here and I have to pay." And I'm all like, "Fuck yeah, charge it. It's good. We're good." Like it wasn't, dude. Like I had this deal that just happened to go through, and this is a big twist. It's like $8,000, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
before we get too far away from the jiu-jitsu subject, I just want to say I want to give a shout out to We Defy Foundation. Mention those guys real quick. Those guys are doing a great job with helping out vets with jiu-jitsu. So if you guys don't know, they give a year free to a vet to go to a school that's We Defy Foundation certified to roll for a year. Dude, so and you have to be new. So if you've never done it and you're a combat war vet, and these are guys with missing limbs, like you know the real deal. I mean, these guys really need it. And jiu-jitsu is all about that. They got guys with missing limbs.
And that's crazy to see that.
What's the name of that foundation?
It's called the We Defy Foundation. I just want to give a shout out. I want to start doing shout outs.
Is there like a website or something where our listeners can check it out?
Yeah. It's called the WeDefyFoundation.org, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that.
I'm gonna Google it and you'll find it.
Yeah. It's a really big foundation, and it's for
the Marines out there. Can you spell it out?
Yeah, okay, let me get the crayons out.
Break it down Barney style.
We Defy, Foundation.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing.
So I love what they're doing for the guys.
That's
so
great. Definitely. I want to touch real quick on, we don't have that much time here, on some of the obstacles you dealt with when you started your business. If any, what were they? And how did you manage to transition from that? And obviously, I know you mentioned a lot about just creating that balance, which seemed to be a big help, and also that quality of service. But for all those other entrepreneurs or veterans that are getting into business right now and already having issues, whether it be sales, whether it be trainees or employees or scaling, what do you suggest? What do you recommend?
I'll start with the employee aspect, right? Having SOPs, right? Having standards and procedures, right? Because you can't be at your business all day, right?
100%.
So if you don't have a carbon copy of yourself, then you're going to be constantly having employees contact you, or losing, if it's a sale, losing sales, or if it's losing clients because they're not able to properly get the message across of what your mission statement is, right? So for me, one of the biggest things was sitting down, and tomorrow we have a meeting. Every week we have meetings. We sit down, find out how they're doing first, right? As human beings. How's life treating you?
True welfare.
Yeah, exactly. True welfare. How are you feeling? Oh, everything's good. What do you need to accomplish for the week? When I started this, most civilians, unfortunately, don't have objectives for the day, for the week. And I was mind blown, but I understand it's easy. Like, 'cause society doesn't teach you that, right? So, all right, I tell them, all right, I want you guys to have them read the How to Win Friends and Influence People, great from Dale Carnegie. Great book, for sure, man. I believe it. Every other book has been written on him, right?
Yeah.
Everything else that people write is based on him. Anyway, so I have 3 goals. Because if they're doing well, right, your business will do well. They'll perform well. And after that, creating that carbon copy, like, what I do a lot is we play scenarios, and the Marine Corps, we call them dry runs, right? Hey, a person walks in right now, and how do you handle this question, right? So what we started doing, at least for my business, we used to not give consultations. We'd talk to a person and just explain what CrossFit was, and nobody really knew what CrossFit was. Then it clicked. CrossFit is anything you need. And that's when I transitioned. What do you need? JP, you come into the gym, and I found out what he needed, and then I would tell him exactly how my program, right, is going to help him achieve his goals, right? So the beauty of CrossFit for veterans that are out there that want to maybe open up a gym, CrossFit doesn't hold you to anything. There's no standards that you have to follow in regards, like you have to run your business this way. You just pay them an annual fee. I think for me it's $3,000. It's an affiliation fee. On the other end, they don't also teach you how to run a business, right? So the beauty is that it's flexible to do it any way you want, right?
What do you get for that? If you don't mind me
Just the name.
Just the name.
Just the name.
You could say like I'm CrossFit.
Yeah, you pick a name. You're an affiliate. You're CrossFit, right? And I got it. Now we're going on. This is my 6th year already, just because most people are looking for CrossFit, right? And I'm even thinking of dropping it here in 4 years, just because my business is so successful in itself, right? As CrossFit Pledge, that we don't need CrossFit. People come to us because JP referred them or someone else referred them.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was going to mention, because I was going to say, I was at another CrossFit gym before I met them, and
Tell them the story.
I'll let you tell the story.
Right.
But the experience was way different, man. And once I started transitioning with them, it was a sense of brotherhood. I mean, you still had some of the same trainings, but it was different. And like you said, it was more catered to what somebody needed, which I thought was different. My personal advice would be, dude, I think you should just pledge fitness and go that route. You have built such a great model of that itself that has no relationship to CrossFit whatsoever. I think it's just an experience now.
No, yeah, and I agree. And that's the key. The people that come from other CrossFit gyms, right? Like I opened up my CrossFit gym because I had bad experiences elsewhere. I wanted to go to gyms and they're like, oh no, you have to do these fundamentals. I'm like, but I've already done CrossFit. Oh no, but you need to pay me so I can teach you.
And now you have this brotherhood, the community that started into something huge, something amazing, which is very this is for everyone that's listening, this is a very applicable skill. We do a lot of stuff on motivation and getting the right mindset, but for all the listeners, they're picking up some very valuable, applicable skills right here. If you take a step back to when you first started your CrossFit gym, when you told us, hey, look, you were focusing on, for a second, you wanted to get as many enrollments as possible. But once you shifted the mindset to provide the best possible service, the best value, and create the best experience, that's when you really blew up. Totally. And now you're getting to the point where, you have a business that's providing you longevity because you're building that experience, the community.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to want to refer their friends, their family members, their coworkers. And when they go to your gym, they experience like nothing that they've ever had.
And you know what I think it's interesting would be to see your retention compared to the other gyms around you. Because I guarantee you that your retention would be a lot more
and it is
higher.
Because, and a few, because he's been in the area, but local gyms in the area, like my retention, I have members that were with me from 6 years ago, 5 years ago, The average member stays with me for 3 to 4 years without leaving. And I get a lot of members from other gyms that come in.
That's awesome.
Trust me, like for me, it's like I don't have a chip on my shoulder. To me, it's just, hey, what's up, dude? How can I help you? What are you trying to accomplish? And that's it. And you tell me what you're trying to accomplish, and we're going to focus on you, Now, to get started for the business, I was fortunate to be contracting. So I left contracting with about $200K saved up, And I was like, all right, what am I going to do? I was going to buy a house. I couldn't buy a house because the VA or the GI Bill paid me while I was deployed. So they put me on collections for $1,000. So when I went to get a loan, they're like, oh, you have to pay this collection. I paid it. Oh, now you've had 90 days without a paycheck. You can't. I think I told you the story.
Yeah.
But it was good. That forced me to open
for a reason.
Another blessing.
Yeah, it forced me to open up my business.
Now you mentioned you started this business with $200,000. Can somebody start?
I started with the business itself. I started with I want to say 50 grand.
Can somebody start that without that? Like, for
yeah,
example,
you can start a business.
If you went back to Raymond starting CrossFit right now, you only had $10,000. Let's say $5,000. I mean, can you still fully launch something like this out?
Not with 5 grand, but for 15 grand, you could totally launch something.
What is, for everyone that's listening that might want to take that leap and take that step to start their own business? Maybe it's a CrossFit gym. For you, let's just talk about CrossFit gym. What is the most important things that they need to develop, and what do they need to take action on to make this happen?
That's a great question, man. These are things we contemplate every week.
I think it's location, right?
Well, I would say location, but prior to launching, what helped me a lot is we build our brand when I was still overseas. I built a social media page.
Nice.
And
Smart.
And I was in Baghdad's palace, and I was working out in Baghdad's palace. So people were following the Downey. Like, I'm from Downey, so the Downey community, my friends were following. So it was definitely very beneficial to have some of my friends. They didn't sign up; they came to try it. And the content on social media showed a busy gym, a high five, smilings, not the opposite. Like, when people think of CrossFit, they think of laying on the floor, dying, sweat, angel, chalk everywhere, ripped hands. People don't want that. You know, not everybody's a hard charger. And that's what I tell CrossFit owners. Not everybody wants to go out there and get smoked. You know, like,
they'll get intimidated.
People girls want to go out there and have a good workout and probably work on their butt. And dudes want to go work on their biceps and get ready for the summer. Not everybody is like, I have a program for Marines and for military members, and they go hard. But the average person is, I need to make sure that you could run a little bit faster than you did yesterday, feel a little bit better than you did yesterday, be a little bit happier. And I tell my members, if you're not happy with the program, then the program's not working. The goal is not to come in here and dread the workout.
Yeah,
right.
Enjoy it.
So I would tell the people that want to start a gym is build your social media and brand. Start before you launch. Work out in your garage. Build an audience, you know?
Because you used to put those pictures, I remember, you overseas and working out and stuff like that. And I used to be like, what the fuck's this crazy guy? In fact, that's one of the ways how I found them. And then I looked them up after. And because I was looking at some of your old pictures.
Yeah.
And it'd be pictures in the desert, and this guy's like working out over there. And I'm like, dude, this fucking guy's crazy, man. This guy's
135-degree weather in Baghdad, grinding.
But see, I was into that shit. For me, it was like, and if you ask him, like, if I ever went to train,
he wanted to get hazed. He'll tell me, I don't want to work out. I want to get hazed. So I would jump in with him.
Yeah.
You know, we would haze each other. And then, you know, going back to how to start for these people, because CrossFit is a very easy business to get into and get return on investment right away. Like, my first year, I think I put 90,000. So I earned my 30 and got my 60 back. But it's all about branding, right? And it's all about providing, give those free work. Hey, come work out for free. Try it out. Check it out. You know, don't be scared to give that free intro. And scale. The thing when we started CrossFit, we wanted to smoke people. We wanted to show that CrossFit was the shit. No. If you smoke somebody, they're not going to come back.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
Scale, provide that complimentary, like, hey, JP, how'd you like it? Great. Hey, man, you know, if you liked it a lot, I think somebody else can relate to you. You know, I would appreciate it if you take it, you know, upon yourself to leave me a review. And here, you know, for leaving a review, come try it out for free for you and your wife. You know, so one of these things, really, I created a lot of value to the member. I told JP, hey, man, your story is very different than your story, right? So if you post out a review out there, someone's going to read it and relate, oh, man, I'm a realtor too. Oh, man, I'm a veteran too.
They're going to connect.
And you're going to connect. And then they're going to come and realize that helped me a lot. Like, if you look at our Yelp review, we have the highest ratings all over 562 area because I sit there and I interact. Every member,
that's the biggest thing.
Every member of my gym, I know their name and I know their life. And most CrossFit owners don't know that. Hey, JP, you didn't pay. You can't train today until you pay. You know, I sit down, like, hey, how's it going on? Hey, by the way, JP, your payment didn't go through. Everything's good at home? Yeah, no, I just got fired. All right, don't worry about it. What's going on? Oh, you know, I got fired. I'm really embarrassed. Don't worry about it. Like, meet me here at 5 a.m. and we'll talk something out. And if you show up at 5 a.m. and to talk to me about how you can pay your dues, I'll help you out. You know, I've had members that I've given.
That's awesome.
Yeah, especially veterans. I've had veterans that I've given a whole year for free, and now they're deputies. And they come back and tell me, dude, I don't even train, but I'm paying you because you helped me when I was struggling. And then you can.
That's awesome.
I think it's giving back, you know, especially with veterans, because I told my dude, I couldn't get a security job, you know, for $8 an hour.
That's amazing, man.
So giving back, you know, giving back.
Dude, let them know how I contacted you.
All right, so yeah, giving back to veterans. So I'm at home. This is maybe year 1 or like 6 months in, and there's a big ass sticker that says veteran owned and operated, because I took pride in like being a veteran running a business, right? And I get a call from this number, and it's like, hey, what's up, Devil Dog? Hey, what's going on, man? Who's this? This is JP. Hurrah! Where you at? I'm like, JP, who? He's like, JP, I'm outside your gym. Why is it closed? You're not gonna be successful in business if it's closed. he's like,
dude, that's how.
Hey, I didn't even know him, right? And he's like, hold on, I'm gonna call you right back in 5 minutes. All right, called him back. Hey, I just canceled my CrossFit membership. I used to be down the street. Come outside, and I drove over there to meet him, and you know how he is high energy. And at that point, I realized, like, man, like that is another line of influence I can have, like helping veterans. He showed me like his dedication and like commitment to helping a veteran out. You know, and in a matter of 30 minutes, he called, canceled his membership, came in, joined mine, has never even met me. And after I started grinding it out, and he's always giving me advice, like to get outside your comfort zone, you know. And it didn't click till about 4 years after, you know.
That's fucking awesome.
But I thought it was great. And I'm the same way. I go spend money at veteran businesses because I know that I'm not gonna go, like my buddy owns Bastard's Barbecue, right? I go over there. I don't even drink anymore. I go over there to drink my beer every Marine Corps birthday or every other weekend just to spend money there, you know, to support his veteran, rather than going.
You're talking about the same guy?
Yeah, Bastard.
Yeah, Bastard.
Yeah, Nick, right?
Yeah, Nick,
Same
yeah.
guy?
Yeah, we were in SY together. Yeah.
I helped him with his toy drive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
Nick,
Boy.
yeah.
Yeah, we all used to, well, we still do.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Marine Corps birthday, and then I go to Joseph's and I
Yeah.
bring all the guys from my unit.
Yeah. Well, my boy Calvin's the one that got hit in the fight.
Yeah.
I've known Calvin since elementary, man.
Yeah.
Middle school, high school. We went to boot camp together. It's a small world.
Rest in peace, by the way. Doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, great guy, dude. The same thing, man. I remember when I went to Bastards, I saw that they had all this military memorabilia, Marine Corps, and I'm like, fuck, dude. So I went in there and I ate the food. I was like, all right, this is back in the day when they used to have that
The different
perfectly,
chef.
That breakfast burgers.
oh man, I was like, dude, this is good.
Yeah.
And I went straight to the girl. I'm like, who's the owner? And she goes, the guy over there. And I'm like, and I walked in. I go, you the owner? He goes, yeah. I was like, fucking damn good job.
Yeah,
And he was just
motivator.
like, dude. He's like, what?
Temecula one just opened up, didn't it?
Yeah. I think they're launching it this week or last week. I think it's this
He's
time
gonna do
frame.
good, bro. He's got
Yeah.
heart, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I
Well,
think we're
man,
gonna have to get a veterans battalion CrossFit just slay us.
I think we're
dude,
down, man.
I've been
Yeah.
telling them to let's do it. See,
Do it.
they underestimate me, bro. Just because I'm chubby and short.
Hey.
But they don't know, man. Like, I
And this
don't
guy gets
stop.
down.
I'll throw up in the end.
He
but
likes this. He likes the punishment, like, you know.
dude, that's
Just
like, I'll go, dude. Like, I remember he would make me do some stuff, dude, and my arms literally just want, I couldn't even pick it up no more. And I'll still like, and then the just throw up all over the place.
With a smile.
That's
But,
not
yeah.
from the workout. That's
I
from
know.
all those carne asada
Yeah.
tacos.
Dude.
We told him to
Still,
go on
man.
a diet. He's
Guys,
like,
Send it.
hey, I'm here at that restaurant that you guys told me about for the diet. In and out, right? Like,
guys, we're just want to let you know we're working out the last few kinks of our site. So make sure you
Yeah.
guys go to veteransbattalion.com. It
Yeah.
should be launched.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right, so yeah, man. So gonna wrap it up, man. Raymond, thank you. Appreciate the
Thanks for
knowledge.
coming by,
for having me,
Great
guys.
input. And for everybody out there, I mean, just realize that it's not just about taking action, but finding that true passion doesn't necessarily mean that you got to go follow what other people are doing or what you've been told that's the right thing to do. Like, take a step back, reset, write down what your true passions, visions, goals are, and then just fucking make it happen. I think that's the biggest key on today's episode, that it's finding that inner wealth that's going to create bigger success and a more amazing greatness for you, right?
Bruh.
Yeah.
So let's always Veterans Battalion. See you to the next one. War Room, Semper Fi.
All right.
Thanks for listening and serving. Please take the time to leave a review on iTunes to get this podcast heard. Veterans Battalion.